where you've got a fork in the road. One side is we cut our losses now, and the other side is we spend the next 15 years together. It's almost like a marriage. We're in an unhappy marriage. We either call it quits or we have another child.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Today we are joined by Gary Bode from Cubed Creative. Cubed create amazing wall art for schools up and down the country. Gary, I've probably done you a complete disservice with that introduction, but how does that sound?
Probably better than what I would have said.
It's better than what AI Gary would have come up with.
Yes, yeah. Well, I don't know. I could have pre-written it and ChatGPT'd it and done a 10-page essay on what I do.
That's it. How would you describe what you do, though? In your elevator pitch, your one-liner?
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, we do school graphics. So we design, print and install graphics to try and inspire pupils and make the environment a place that teachers and pupils want to learn and work in.
Okay. Well, it turns out I didn't do too much of a disservice then.
No.
Good. In our pre-chat, you sent this line which I love. You said, in the beginning, sounds like in the beginning there was light. In the beginning, we had a lifestyle business, but we didn't have an ambitious lifestyle business. It's not often we start with the ambitious lifestyle business question, but what did a lifestyle business mean to you in the past?
Well, a lifestyle business, we kind of ended up having a lifestyle business because we realised what was more important, and that was family. After my daughter was ill with encephalitis, and we got told caring for the loss of your child because she'd changed that much with damage it had caused in her brain, and Tony's dad having cancer, we both kind of, we didn't say to each other, let's stop working. We just stopped working as much. We saw what was more important. And
Tony was your business partner, yeah?
Yes, he was. Yeah. So then we started doing less work, and I started going to all the school plays and going to dance and changing their ballet shoes and tap shoes for them, and just trying to be a better dad.
What was that like, just getting that news? I mean, that must be like a bombshell, isn't it?
It was. She had chicken pox, and me and Jo had gone out, and she was round her mum's, and she couldn't stand. She was just kept on falling on the floor. So we kind of obviously headed home, and took her straight up to the hospital, and she was in there for a while, and luckily the consultant that we saw spotted what it was, because it's quite rare for doctors to see it in their whole lifetime. So as you do with anything, obviously you get told the news and you start Googling what's going on and stuff, and she got admitted into hospital. I ended up staying in there for the week, overnight, and then getting up and, well, not actually getting up, not actually really sleeping. And then Jo would come in the day and I'd go and do my job in the day. And then go back to the hospital in the evening. And yeah, it was just kind of cross your fingers and hope everything comes out all right. I don't know, we're both, me and Jo, are very much a believer in, what will be, fate and stuff, and you kind of just hope that everything will be right in the end, and you just deal with the shit that comes with it afterwards if it doesn't turn up that way.
Can I rewind a little bit before? So what was business like before these kind of, what do you call them, black swan events, things that come in and shake up everything completely? If we went, what was business like just, before that?
So when I took over from my brother, bought him out because he emigrated to New Zealand. So Cubed had been going 5 years by then. And it was very much a lifestyle business for both of them. I used to work down the road. I used to pop in and see them, and they'd be playing Doom and stuff when they're not busy. And that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a business. And so when I joined and took over, it was very much of, right, what can we do? Let's do this. This is what I was doing at the company I was working for. Let's do this. Let's do that. So we were very much, I was very much a driving force to try and grow the business. And, it was going in the right direction. But then obviously, we had nice company cars and things like that, and 4 weeks, 5 weeks holiday a year, but still had a regular amount of work coming in, which paid
like 40, 50 hour week for you?
Yeah, probably a normal like 40, 50 hour week.
Mm-hmm.
Not stupid hours. Every now and then, obviously, in our industry, there is that drop a bombshell of this job's got to be done next week, and you end up staying till 11, 12 o'clock at night. But I didn't do any all-nighters, which I have done working for other people previously.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was good. It was going in the right direction. But obviously, when Holly got ill, it was very much we just stepped off. I was going into work and spending Saturdays and evenings, building websites and looking at stuff that we can do to try and grow stuff. We didn't have hardly any extra money for marketing and stuff, so it was very much what can we do for free. Emails and all sorts, trying to do it all. But then obviously when Holly got ill, it was very much I just stopped doing them things. It was kind of like, we've done the work, and the work still got done. We still got paid the same amount of money every month. And it was kind of like, well, we don't need to be doing this. We've still got this work coming in without doing all that. Let's just carry on. So that's what it was like before.
What was that like then when I guess there's always a period, I talked about it, I think in Routine Machine, about the marketing roller coaster, whereby you do marketing because you're quiet and you need work, and then suddenly you get busy, so you stop doing the marketing, and then suddenly you're not busy, so you have to do marketing, and then you get busy, so you stop the marketing. But it sounds like with this, you stop the marketing and the drop off wasn't immediate, but did that decline follow?
Yeah, so the decline followed over years. So we didn't really have that roller coaster of the work. We did have regular work coming in every month. One of the customers we do work for, they repackage everything for Costco. So they were our biggest client. And every month we had loads of work just from them. Plus all the other clients that we had that was sort of every month or so, every couple of months. But the drop off didn't happen for a while. It only really started happening towards the beginning of Brexit and stuff. Obviously, with every sort of event that goes on in the world, advertising is the first thing that gets stopped. And it's not always the thing that should be stopped. Companies that generally advertise during a pandemic or whatever else is going on normally end up coming out of it better afterwards. But most people cut advertising.
Exactly.
So Brexit was happening and advertising got cut, because no one knew what was happening, where we were going, what was going to be the after. And it just kind of went on and on and on until Brexit finally finished. And it was very much like right at the end when Brexit was done, it was kind of like we were very close to putting the last nail in the coffin. Mm. And then it just started picking up and we got through, managed to pay all the tax for a few tweaks with a new accountant that we had. And then COVID come along.
I got the frying pan into the fire a little bit, wasn't it?
It was, and then another lot of shit come along. COVID was fun. It just killed everything. We were owed 40 grand. We had 30 grand's worth of work that just got put on stop. No one was paying. We had all the work got stopped, so we couldn't do anything. It was just like, oh shit, what do we do now? That's it now. That is, close the doors. Let's go on the dole. But resilience, we actually asked the company that does all the packing, which we're in their building. They sort of run on agency staff, and because obviously food and essentials was still needed, they were very, very busy. So we kind of replaced 2 of the agency staff for 6 weeks on minimum wage, because we kind of thought, well, at least we got some money coming in, which is better than nothing. So we did that, and because we were still here, we were coming in early, lunchtimes, working late in the evenings, trying to figure out what the hell do we do now. So that took 6 weeks to sort of come alive, where we started creating I started creating all of the like COVID stickers, and started doing stuff for my wife's school. People were being charged for stuff. Trying to get hold of the material was just a nightmare, because everyone was just buying it up. So I wasn't taking on work and just doing it on the wrong material. We were doing it on the right materials. And then started creating testing pods and cardboard screens with acetate in, and little tennis table bats for stopping instead of using masks. Just trying to create and design anything out of all the stuff that we've used over the years to keep selling and making money, which worked really well for a year. But that was fine, because obviously, everything was coming back after a year, and we could get back to doing what we were used to do. But obviously that wasn't
back to the new normal, yeah?
Yeah, the new normal, where everyone's just, COVID's gone, done, and we're all back making money again, which obviously didn't happen. And being in the print exhibition retail kind of side of it, we were the last ones to actually get going. And I kind of was sitting there thinking, well, no one spent any money in these places, so they're not going to have any money to spend on advertising, so they're going to be reusing what they've got and just spending as little as possible. And I thought, it's going to hit us even more. So that's when I started looking at all the other areas that we could move into. We've done stuff in schools. Everyone thinks that schools have got no money, but COVID, it was being chucked around like anything. And not just in COVID stuff, they were having graphics and stuff, because we do work in a trust. And so I put everything together we had, and sent it out on Facebook ads, which was great. And I think I quoted 70 grand's worth of work in 3 weeks, and we got 40 of it over the summer. And kind of thought, oh, this could be a new area that we could move into, and it could, create a life for us, and we could survive again. So yeah, that's what we did, really. But obviously at this time, during COVID, Tony was going through his divorce, and he was having a hard time. He wasn't here, really. He was here in body, but not in spirit. And he was very much getting on with the work. And I think, we were lucky with the bounce back loan that we got. We couldn't get anything else on offer, because we didn't meet the requirements, because we kind of sub-rent off of our customer, so we couldn't get any of the, can't remember what it was now, any of that funding. So yeah, all we got was the bounce back loan, and that kind of kept us going for a lot longer. while we were trying to redevelop the website and stuff for schools and put everything together. But yeah, Tony, as we got busier with the schoolwork, it was more apparent that he wasn't here. And it was the summer after, so we'd done a year of doing the school stuff, and the summer after, and it was a busier summer. We were probably 30-40% up to the previous summer, and I was out fitting because I do everything. I do print, the design, the fitting, the marketing, and everything. So I was trying to do everything, and Tony was kind of doing the normal work. But the normal work was dropping off. But obviously over the summer, the schools were the most important. So I was out fitting, coming back to get the jobs for the next couple of days or the following week, and nothing had been done. So it was kind of end up spending evenings and weekends trying to play catch up to get the jobs ready for the week after.
When you say playing catch up, that's you playing catch up, yeah?
Me playing catch up, he was here.
Mm-hmm.
He was here with me. If I wasn't here, I don't know what he was doing. He said he was busy and doing stuff, but it wasn't getting done. So I had to very much hold his hand for it. And I think the last install we did in the summer, it was very much I'd had enough. And one of his friends helps out on the fits, and he sort of said to me, "What's going on with Tony?" Like, because he was working with him on one of the jobs he come to, and he was like, he wasn't there, he wasn't with me, and I was like, "Tell me about it." It's been like it for the last year, and it's the busier we get, it's the more it comes out, and. The last job he come with me, because he didn't know what he was doing in the office. He wanted to get out, and he had a bit of a funny turn, and I was kind of like, what's wrong? This was a Monday, and we hadn't worked on the Sunday, and I said to him, like, "You're right," and he said, "Oh, I just feel a bit lightheaded and stuff." I was like, "Did you have any breakfast?" He said, "Oh, no, I didn't." I said, "What about dinner? Like, did you have dinner last night?" So I had a pack of peanuts, and I knew he'd been out for a 5-10 mile run in the morning as well. And it's kind of like, you kind of go, oh shit, like, he's really struggling here. Like, he's really not coping. So I sort of spoke to a couple of his friends, and we kind of had a little intervention, because he was very much, I was the only one seeing it because it was affecting his work, because he had me to lean on. It was okay. He kind of could not worry about the business, because he knew I was covering his back, and we have always covered each other's back through the years, as mates do. And so it was kind of like, how can I have a go at him for not working when he's having these personal problems? So we kind of got together with his friends and kind of had we all had a little chat and go, we know what's going on. He wasn't eating, he wasn't sleeping, which was obviously affecting his life. So we kind of put him back on the right path. And I always had in my head that I could get him back to how we used to be. We always worked well together. And that's what I was holding on to throughout. It was kind of like, it's like a marriage, isn't it? When shit happens, you're there for your partner, aren't you? You're there to pick them up and move on. And it's the same thing as a business partner. I'm with him as much as I am with my wife. We've known each other for 20 years. It's very much a hard relationship as well, isn't it? So obviously he was struggling. So it was kind of like, right, I need to try and help him get back into the business, get his life back on track. So it was kind of like, you just get yourself back on track with your life, and I'll do as much as I can in the business. Which I think that's kind of where the moment of where I kind of took it over completely, and he would become more of an employee than a business partner. And he just kept on sitting back and back further and further the more we went on. Fast forward.
Definitely a divergence there, wasn't it? Obviously, we took you kind of through that period of time. So, yeah, it was definitely a divergence about what was happening and how you had to kind of cope. And those were leading to you working all the hours under the sun and the difficulty that is for you along with your family as well, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And I think I'd got to that point that summer I was kind of, when you're burnt out. I can't do any more because I was doing as much as I can trying to cover him. But then it's kind of like, right, let's just, I've got to do it. I've got to carry on doing it because he's still not where he needs to be. So then you carry on for another year doing the same thing and going, well, I can't carry on doing this by myself. I can't be outfitting, designing, printing, trimming, doing all the extra work that he's not doing. So it was kind of like, well, you do the normal work and I'll try and take on the school work. So then at that point I started getting freelancers to go out doing the installs. So then I'm not out doing the installs. So I'm back in the office getting the jobs ready. And then you fast forward a bit further on and it was kind of right, okay, Tone, you're not doing the design either now. Right, let's get a freelance designer to help him get through the design work because I can't be doing the design and finishing all the work now because we're busier than what we were. And as we've got busier and busier, it's become more apparent the little amount he was doing. And I didn't have a business partner. That was it. He wasn't a business partner. He was an employee. And we had, a year later, for the next year, I had 3 conversations with him before we got to that point where I said I'd had enough. And, Jason got me to do the operational chart of who does what. And I was 77% of the work, which kind of like, I can't keep on doing this. You show Tony and go, look, I'm doing all this. This is what you're doing. The normal work's dropping off. There isn't the work there that you should be doing. You need to be helping more out on the school and helping to do that.
Were you guys 50% shareholders?
Yes, both 50-50.
So 50-50, you do the org chart, you're 77%, freelancers are 20%, he's 3%, yeah?
Well, not including the freelancers on there. You kind of, it was kind of, the work between me and him was very much, 77 me, the rest him, and then the freelancers to help out because they're not permanent, are they? So it was very much, when we were really busy, let's just put a freelancer in, and then they're gone. So they're not helping out on the day to day. They're just helping out when we're really busy.
So tough times then. So you've gone from a business partner you're working really well with. You both had an issue. You both had black swans in your own kind of personal lives and things like that. And he kind of sloped from being a business partner to more of an employee, and then he wasn't the best employee. So I guess there was some difficult conversations to be had.
Yes, which we had several conversations, but around October time, I had the conversation of I can't do this anymore. Like, it's not. I'm done. I'm burnt out. I can't keep on going because we needed to grow the business. The business needed to grow because we'd taken on extra loans and debt. So then we needed to turn more money over to be able to pay that back. And he was very much like, yeah, I'm on board. I'll start doing this and I'll start doing that. And I think if I hadn't done the operational chart, the next conversation, which was the most difficult, I wouldn't have had anything to sort of. It was very much like me just moaning and whinging, and then he'd sort of, oh no, I'll do this, I'll do that. It'd be fine, and then you go away all happy. And then another 3 months go down the line and think, hold on, you're still not doing
Nothing's
it.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed, but I haven't documented anything to to showcase the evidence. But I was building up the evidence over like a 6-month period. And then November, I think, the end of November come, and I was going to leave it until January and see how things were going, because he was getting his life back on track. And it was very much like, obviously he was living with his wife still, and then the house got sold, and he moved in with his mate, and then he was dealing with that, and then he got his own place, and he was doing that up, and then he met someone, and he was seeing her, and then he got a puppy because he was lonely on his own. And then it was the next thing, and it was always the next thing, and it was very much me going, oh, once he's done that, then he'll get back into running the business. Oh, once he's done that, he'll get back into running the business. But it never come. And so end of November come along, and he'd had a week off, and he was going off with his new girlfriend. And I was off on the Friday, and I come in the Monday, and there was some urgent bits to do, and a client turning up at 8 a.m. And at the bottom, we're upstairs. So at the bottom of the stairs, there was all this packaging material across the stairs. So you couldn't walk up the stairs, you had to climb over it. And I had a client coming in an hour to pick up work that I had to go upstairs and finish and get ready for him. So I had to get all this stuff upstairs and put away, and then do the job before the client turned up. So obviously I was quite annoyed at that point already.
Quite annoyed. I'm sure those are the exact words you were thinking. I'm quite annoyed about this.
Trying to be not the one that's swearing all the time. Managed to get all that done. Got on the job, and then it's like, right, we always leave lists for each other of like what's been done for the following week that he hasn't finished. And so I was going through the list. I had another lot of stuff to do by the end of the day, which I knew I had. And then the list for the rest of the week. And I was going through the list, and the stuff on there was, send little parking characters off to the printers. So I'm finding the email to get the back trail of it all. And it was kind of like, that was signed off Tuesday. So why hasn't he sent it to the printers? And it is literally file, save as, PDF, upload to the printer, off it goes. That simple. Didn't have to do anything. And then you go, okay, right, fine, fair enough. He go on to the next one. Well, that was signed off Monday. Like, why hasn't he done that? And then, some of the last ones were signed off the week before that. And you kind of sort of like, hold on, like, what the hell have you been doing? And
so the picture grows, and it looks more and more tricky. And
it was very much of kind of like, he was trying to set up his life, his new life. And I was looking, and he was sort of saying, I'm going to get a mortgage next year. Because he'd be 55, so he gets his pension, not his pension. He can take a lump sum of his pension. So he'd take his lump sum of his pension, put that towards deposit with what he's got left from his house, the portion that he got from there. And then he'd get a mortgage for the next 15 years. And it's very much like, I don't know if I want to be with him for 15 years, with him being the way he is. And I think how, as I said, our values and what we wanted from a business changed. He was very much in that bit where he didn't want to work late. He didn't want to work weekends, which I completely get. I don't want to do it either. But needs must. And if you've got a debt to serve, you need to make sure you get enough work in and put the effort in to pay it off. So it was kind of, I was always kind of like, short-term pain for the next few years to get the business back up on its legs. And then we can kind of hopefully step back a bit. But he didn't want that at all. He didn't want to be working any extra time. He was always whinging and moaning. And obviously we share a unit with the people downstairs, the other customer. So I hear little snippets from them of him moaning about doing stuff. And it was very much like, he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do the schoolwork. He wants to go back to doing the old business that doesn't really exist anymore. So it would have gone bust, and we would have parted ways anyway. So yeah, it was very much of, oh shit, I don't want to be with him for another 15 years. And I kind of thought that it's a good time for him to leave, and he doesn't have to rely on the money he's earning from Cubed, because he's got no outgoings. Because his kids have kind of grown up. The youngest was 16, the eldest was 20, so they'd kind of moved on. His wife obviously got a new house, so he just had himself to keep. So it's very much, if I call it now, he can start a new life in whatever he wants to do, go and get whatever job he wants and start again, where if he's got a mortgage, he's tied into earning the money he needs to earn, and then it'll be harder for us to split, and it would be
that almost now or never moment, I guess, where you've got a fork in the road. One side is we cut our losses now, and the other side is we spend the next 15 years together. It's almost like a marriage. We're in an unhappy marriage. We either call it quits or we have another child.
Yeah, it was very much like the kids have grown up and we decided we don't actually like each other. We've got nothing in common anymore. Let's just go our own ways. But it was me deciding it and not him, because he was just head in the sand. Everything's okay, living the life of Rose.
Yeah, there will be people listening to this now, Gary, who are in a similar situation whereby they have a business partnership which isn't working out. Appreciate, obviously, you've come out the other side of it now, and it's always easier to talk with hindsight. But what advice would you have for them around starting that conversation? Do you have to have the ammunition? I know you said it helped having the org chart there to say, look, I'm doing 77% of the work here. You're getting half the profits, and you're looking to load debt onto the company. How do you start that conversation? How do you approach it? Do you block out the entire day, say, like, we're not getting any work done today? We're going in the office, we're going to thrash it out. How did you approach that?
Well, the initial little chit chats were very much of him coming in the morning, me sitting there stewing with the hump of going, I need to deal with this, because I don't like dealing with stuff like that. And then me sort of not having a big outburst, but sort of going, right, that's it. Chuck my toys out my pram and sort of gone, right, I'm not doing this anymore. We need to talk about this. And it was very much, it started off like that.
Was that the first line? I can't do this anymore. We need to talk.
Yeah, I think so. On the very first time we had it, I said, you need to get back into doing the business. I can't do this anymore by myself. I said, I feel like, the whole, with my brother and Tony, when obviously he was emigrating, so he didn't care. He was leaving. And it was very much at that point before we changed over, Richard weren't doing anything. And Tony was having that conversation of, I've had enough. Look, I'm just going to close it and walk away. And we'll just start up in 6 months' time. And I was very like, no, just hang in on there. Just, there's no point closing. Just hang in there. And I said, when I joined, obviously, I'm full in on it. So we'd be back to 50-50. So it was that conversation of going, how you felt with my brother? That's how I feel now. And that's what you're doing to me. And he didn't see it until I pointed it out, but he didn't bother reacting to it, because I think obviously he was having his life problems of divorce and stuff, and he could only deal with that. So obviously when I joined a year back, when I joined the 1% Club, before I joined the 1% Club, I found some American book which I didn't like because it was American, and then I found your book, and it was kind of like, 1% gains. Let's start try and gain my time back, so then I can grow the business and I can help Tony out. And I missed the intake because I was like, I'm going to sign up because I was looking for a business partner, which I didn't have. And it was kind of like, oh, you could be my business partners, where I can sound stuff out. And obviously the whole business was changing, so I needed help and advice. So I think when the next lot of intake come around and the invites went out, I think is it 6 a.m.
6 a.m. the email was scheduled for, and 6:01 I think I got an email.
I was signed up, ready to go, because I didn't want to miss out. I was kind of like, oh, because you said you only take so many people. I was kind of like, going to make sure I'm getting in. So at 6:01, I was there. I was outside the 1% doors.
Yeah. I thought I saw your sleeping bag outside my front door about 2 nights earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I was ready. So, yeah, I was looking for that new business partner and then having them conversations in the 1% club with people, and then people that I know, and my wife, I should listen to my wife more. We cut that bit out.
Is that the title for the podcast?
Yeah, listen to your wife. She knows best.
Yeah, the wife knows best.
What's the saying? Behind every great man, there's a greater woman, or every greater woman. What's the saying?
It's definitely something like that. They say. I've heard a woman say that.
Behind every man, there's a great woman, or something. Yeah, right. So that's enough bigging over. So yeah, I should listen. You talk to everyone, as many people as you can, because it's better off your chest. Where I was kind of bottling it all in and trying to deal with it myself. And then
I think from you, the other thing is that, and I think you said it a bit earlier on, was that you thought it was you. You thought this was normal. You thought this was the right thing. You thought this is just how business was because that was your experience of those things. And obviously being your mate as well, it was really difficult that, actually this is just what I've got to do. I can't do anything different than what I'm doing because this is just the way it is. And I think coming in and joining us, you kind of found out that there was a different path and that maybe wasn't the way it needed to be and that you did have some different choices that could be made.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think the problem is, no matter everyone I spoke to and told the situation, everyone was sort of saying to me, I think you need to split up with him. And I was kind of like, no, that's not the help I want. I want you to tell me how to get him back on board.
Tell me everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I wanted him back on board. I didn't want to get rid of him. I wanted him back on board so we could grow the business together. Like we have done, well, not grown it, but run a business for the last 15 years. I wanted that. I didn't want to split up. But everyone was telling me, you need to split up.
I think the bit that I kind of take away of it is, and we talk about it a lot in the 1% Club, is visions and values. And I think at some point, due to trauma, and I'll say that whatever that trauma was, whether that's divorce, whether that's Holly, whatever that was, due to the trauma, those visions and values changed. And it wasn't the business you started with. It wasn't the business that you had after your trauma. It wasn't the business you had after his trauma. It was where it changed altogether. So those visions and values diverged, and actually you have a different ethos at the end of the traumas than he did. And because of that change, it was never going to move forward. You were never going to be able to move forward together and continue being great mates and having a great business because you both had completely different ideas of what that should look like.
Yes, yeah. I think Brexit, I'd fall out of love of the business. I was quite happy to close the doors and walk away, but I couldn't go and get a job earning what I was earning, and obviously I had commitments and stuff at home, and to try and help out there, and I'm the breadwinner, so I needed to make sure I was earning that money so everyone can carry on doing what they're doing. And then the school stuff come around, and I kind of fell back into love with it again, where I don't think Tony had that love for it. He didn't like doing that kind of work. So where I was kind of like, all excited again, like a new business, he was kind of like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing the hours. I've had enough. And also the fact that, in a year's time, he would have paid his mortgage off, and he was looking at slowing down. And the reality of now I've got to work up till retirement age. And I was kind of like, oh, well, by the time I'm 60, he'll be out the door and I could have 10 years by myself of running the company by myself.
Yeah.
But,
isn't that, again, what Jason just said about different vision, though? His vision was just limp this business through until I retire. That's all I care about. I don't want to grow the business. I don't care about your retirement in 30 or 50 years' time. That was a compliment there, Gary. You can take it.
I thought you just meant I'm just going to have to work to another 30.
There is that.
There's so much more shit coming.
Yeah, we haven't had Rachel Reeves' budget yet, so who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Retirement age is now 110.
He's very slim.
I'd like to fast forward us a little bit, if that's okay, because obviously you've had the separation. That's the thing. You've gone these separate ways. You've now got sole control over your business, and I just want to have a look and see from you what that looks like now and how you feel about that now. Before we kind of leave this episode of the podcast, if that's all right.
Yeah. So my plan for the future. You kind of jumped in. What does an ambitious lifestyle business look like for you?
I haven't asked that question yet.
No, I know.
It's coming, Gary. Don't you worry. It's coming.
It is coming. Don't jump the gun. I want a bit about how this looks now that you've separated. You've got your own business. You're working this through. You've got some team around you who share your vision and values. You've put some systems and stuff in place, and actually, this is the way the business is going right now.
I kind of see a future for it. I can grow the business. Just recently, obviously, I was possibly going to have another business partner, but that isn't looking very likely. And Joe's kind of stepping up into the business, and the girls I've kind of given up. I work Saturdays now. Sorry, but I work Saturdays. I've to allow the girls to have a job, so they both now work Saturdays for us. And to be fair, it's actually quite nice. We all actually spend the day together. You have your little family rows, and as you do, but it's quite nice we're all together. When you're at home, the girls are up in the rooms, or they're doing this, or we're tidying up, or doing all the other things where we're all kind of working for one goal, to try and grow the business and give me more time back.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
I know I shrugged my shoulders when you said you're back on a Saturday, because that was when you first came into the club. The first go was to not work Saturdays, but actually to be able to work a Saturday with the girls, with your wife, having family time. That's got to be dreamy, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it is good. Yeah, just got. We've all said that whatever goes on at work, in arguments and stuff, stops at work. So we don't go home and all have the ump with each other. Because me and Joe did have an argument over the other partner thing, and we didn't talk for the whole evening. We went to bed with who's going to say "night, love you" first.
Have you not had that moment where you wake up with a post-it note on your pillow?
Or a horse's head?
That was my back, I suppose. Going forward, there's a plan. I'm definitely in the ambitious side of it at the moment, and I think I'm going to be there for a good year, which will hopefully allow me to pay back all the debt that we're in. And then at that point, I can start looking at taking on someone in the office, growing the design team in the Philippines, possibly Joe joining the company. The girls will never join the company. They might always do Saturdays or something, but they've got their own path and life they want to lead. So they'll just be there to help out when they can. That's kind of the future's rosy.
It's a shared vision. It's a shared vision. It's shared values. You're aligned. You're energized. You're fired up. You are a different Gary to the one we saw when you first joined. 18 months ago, at 6:01 a.m. How has the 1% Club kind of helped you over that journey over the last 18 months? What elements of the club do you enjoy? What's been impactful for you?
Well, it started off with the book recommendations, listening to all the books and I'd never been a reader. I've always been, I can't read. Story time with the girls when they were little was very much paging, me yawning, wanting to go to sleep. Reading any other sort of fiction or business book would be a challenge. But listening to business books as kind of, and I think the whole COVID thing and changing what we did, because I was very much more hands-on in the business, not on the computer side, the marketing side, the bit that I actually enjoy. It was very much that was pushed away, and I couldn't do it, but I had to do it when Tony wasn't around, and it was very much, I'm not going back to being the person doing the finishing and printing and the trimming. I need to do that bit to grow the business. So making the 1% improvements as well, that's kind of where I started off after reading your book, to stupid things of tubes, which was the very first one I said to Tony. I said, why are we taping? We used to tape up, put the caps on, and then brown tape the tubes, and then tape around the end so the tape didn't fall off and the cap didn't come off both ends. So we send out all these tubes. We stand there, half a day taping up all these tubes. And I said to him, why don't we get the staple gun? Because obviously buying the staple gun cost money. Why would we buy that when tape was cheaper? So it's kind of like, let's get the staple gun. And it obviously saves you so much time. So it was kind of like them 1% improvements of trying to save time. That was my biggest thing, of trying to save myself time. I didn't have to work Saturdays.
Or you could choose to work Saturdays.
Yes, choose to work Saturdays. Yes, so it was kind of, definitely them 1% improvements, and being part of that community of having someone you can chat to that's been through the same shit as you.
Yeah, we all have. In some ways, the names are different, the exact circumstances different, but we are all wading through very similar shit.
Yes. Yeah, I think we should have in our profiles on the 1% group of what shit have you gone through, so everyone can read
this week.
This week.
You can just sort of search and scan through and go, oh, Karen's gone through that pile of shit. Might message her and see how to come out the other side. That would be great. 1% improvement for you.
There we go. It's on the could-do list, mate. I'll put it there.
So go on then. What's the question, and what's your answer?
I don't know. Do you want to? I don't want to take it away from you. You can ask the question.
This is the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. What does an ambitious lifestyle business now look like for you, Gary?
Well, I kept on saying to Tony that we're not getting any younger, and that was the main focus of me looking to create a business rather than a lifestyle. Because a lifestyle, unfortunately, I've noticed a lot of the businesses, or some of the businesses in the club, very much sit at home running their business, or can go anywhere in the world and run their business. Where for me, it's very difficult to do that, because I'd need a little entourage of vans and stuff to ship printers and benches and stuff around. So I said to him, I wanted a business that we can have a team where we can rely on the team to run the business without input of being managers rather than being the workers. And I always wanted Cube to be my pension plan, so it would carry on running. very much like your book, your False Exit. Carry on running, and I can kind of oversee it in the background, maybe do a couple of days here or there, and still take a pension wage out of it to the point where it either carries on running by itself and the girls can take over it and it gives them a bit of wealth, or it gets sold and divided between the two of them. So that's my 5 years, is have people in the office with me still working. 10 years, have someone in the office that can manage it and me doing the bits I want to do. And 15 years will be them kind of running the business with me pushing them in the right direction.
Very good, very good.
On a beach somewhere, something minty and cocktaily in your hand, yeah?
Yeah, not worrying about having to come in and print stuff and mount stuff and be on site. Just going, have you done that job yet? Is that job on track? Which is the whole system, putting the systems in place, which I'm trying to improve on every
1% better every week. That's all it's got to be.
Well, every quarter. I kind of make notes of them through the whole quarter, and then we implement them. We've got a what went wrong list. How can we fix what went wrong?
Gary, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much indeed for joining us on this edition of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. You've been great.
For those who are in a school and listening to this podcast, I know we've got plenty of teachers who would love to have an ambitious lifestyle business as opposed to their current day job. How could a school who wants to have an amazing hallway, assembly, canteen, or just classroom get in touch with you and make that a reality?
Easiest way is to go on our website, which is cubedcreative.co.uk.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you very much.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.